All right. Hey, how y'all doing tonight? Good to see you. Let's see, Jack and Danny and Paul and some pagan coffee. That's cool. Let's see, who else we got? We got Luke, I saw out there, and let's see. It's all scrolled past me. I can't scroll back on that screen. Anyway, thanks all for stopping in. Good to see you. That's what I thought, Kurt. I was going to make a guess. And I see Jeff's there, Breathalyzer's there, a few other folks. Welcome to a grand experiment. Some new stuff tonight. And we will chat about, and let's see, let me find my notes. Let's see, put them in here tonight. All right, so I guess we'll start out first with, as usual, what's in the jam, and I have no idea what's going to happen. The birds are upset, I can see that. Let's see, or hear that. I was up till about a minute before show start, discovering a few things, but we'll go through. Let me go ahead and bring up the DAW. There it is. You can see there's an Omnisphere patch going. A lot of that tonight. Only one original patch in tonight's program, and that's this one. And I'll get to why in a few minutes, but what you're hearing now is the kind of underlying pad that ran this thing. I created this one, I guess, yesterday, before I went over to Paul's, and so that was the starting pad from yesterday too that I had. I'll make that go away. Let's see, also off of Omnisphere tonight, we have a modified version of a stock patch called Thick Boy. It's a nice bass. I've just kind of taken some of the attack off it, obviously. Buried it in reverb, because you never do that to bass. No, I did not swear off an Omnisphere, that's for sure, Paul. I'm digging Omnisphere. I'm having a good time with it. Let's see, we've also got out of Omnisphere that thing. A little bit unpredictable when you're trying to play it from the keyboard. But there's that. We did have a Kontrast patch. It could be a bit low, and let me pull it closer to me. Is that better, guys? It's actually cranked up a bit, so it should be. It should be loud, although, and like I said, I'll get into why some things may be out of whack tonight in a couple of minutes. Kontrast is awesome. I'm loving that. As I said, I'm loving Omnisphere, and which will become apparent because. Okay, so we got another. What is this one? This is also out of Omnisphere, even though it says it's in. No, I take that back. Where did I get this from? What is this in? This is off the multi-poly native. Sorry. I was putting this stuff together so quick before going on. I didn't even. It's been crazy. So anyway, lead was one more instance. The piano was one more instance of Omnisphere. So anyway, that's all that was in the jam. That was enough, I think. Let's get a little bit of something going in the background. I guess we'll get this guy going again. Having to do things a little different, and because tonight is a well, it's different. The eagle-eyed among you may have noticed a slight difference in the presentation in a slight difference in the presentation of the DAW. The reason is, for that, is that I bought a new computer, for those who don't know, and let's see, go to graphics. I went out, so let me give a little backstory first. And so last week, I did my live set, and it went well. It went well, but I played it kind of a hybrid set, and so the it was some tracks off the computer, which you guys have heard, and then the modular, and I played the modular live, and that all went really well. But the entire show, the entire set, my laptop was on the verge of basically saying I quit. And there were only like a half a dozen tracks playing, and even those weren't playing all the time because I was moving through the arrangement. And so it was, I was sitting there with my fingers crossed while I was trying to play music and play my set that the thing didn't crap out on me. Now it didn't, but it kind of woke me up, and it's like, as that machine's just not going to make it. So I went out, and after a lot of discussion, Luke was part of this, and Jeff was in on it, and some of the other folks in the Discord, in Luke's Discord were in. But I did go out and I picked up one of these guys. It's an older machine, but it's very close in configuration to Luke's. The only difference between Luke's and mine, I think, is the amount of RAM. I would have loved to have gotten one with 64 gig of RAM like Luke's, but they're basically unobtainium. And I got an older machine. I mean, this is an old M1 Max, but there's no way I can afford an M4 Max MacBook Pro. But anyway, I've been scurrying around since, I guess I got this on Thursday. And so I've been fooling around trying to get all my stuff transferred over to it, and I'm almost all the way there. So let's see, we're in all those samples. Well, I mean, there's a lot of samples. It's like, I don't have all the packs that you do, but there's a lot of samples and wavetables and all this that was playing tonight. And the crunch tests, Luke, that I've done, the files that you and I were passing back and forth the test, I was getting, oh yeah. No, I'm not into a lot of that. I'll do some, but not, I'm not putting up most of that stuff that I had back on, because I wasn't using it. The tests that we used, Luke, I was able to get, 48 tracks with no problem playing on this thing. Yeah, so it's, I mean, I do use samples, but, or sample-based stuff, I mean, and wavetable stuff, and so there's lots of stuff cramming up into memory, but really it's not, the tests have not been that bad. It's not been pushing the machine all that hard. So anyway, I'm pretty thrilled. This the set that we were playing tonight, I was pushing, topping out at maybe 25% of CPU, so let's see specs. It's got an M1 Max. This is a 2021 model. It's got an M1 Max. It's got the 10 core model, which has got 8 P cores and 2 E cores. It's got the 32 gig GPU, which I don't care about, but that's what comes in it. I'm running, I think a difference from Luke, I'm running on the newest Mac OS, the Tahoe, and I think you're still running on something earlier. And so, so basically I'm running tonight the regular music PC is just sitting over there in the corner. The power's on, but that's about it. So this, oh, look at that, it worked. This is a typical set for me, and it's really not even straining, let's just say that. So really happy with it so far. My next task is to find a decent docking station, because basically at this point I'm going to have one computer, you know, instead of the back and forth stuff where I'm trying to have things synchronize and all that kind of stuff that I was doing before. Not going to mess with it. The only, I guess, hassle involved with that is if I create a set, Ableton Live set, out and about without everything in the studio connected up to it, I've got to go through and reset all the connections to external devices when I get back in the studio. Which is not a huge deal. You know, it's just click, 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 done. So that's no big deal. Let's see. So I'm looking for an appropriate docking station so it becomes a one cable solution. I've got an old Kingston thing that mostly works, but it's not handling video the way I would like. I mean, it's getting video out, but I really want two monitors out so I have two different feeds into the video production system. And it's doing another thing. What's it doing that for? It's plugged in and just dimmed the screen. It's not supposed to be doing that. I thought I had it set up differently. Anyway, still remembering how to use a Mac. I was a big Mac user for a number of years, and then some stuff happened, and I had to get a new computer, and there was not enough money for new Macs. So I went back to PC, and so I've been spending the last 4 days also remembering how to make a Mac work. But cruising along pretty good. One exciting thing, if you remember from a couple weeks ago, I was out of inputs on my mixer interface, but I was also, I was not real thrilled with the performance. The best I could do as far as buffer sizes and latencies was like 256 buffers, and I was getting over 20 milliseconds of latency round trip. With this rig, I can, let's see, that's over here now. We go in here and make that get out of the way. I'll bring it to you in just a second. There we go. Boom, boom. So I've got now, still talking to the Zoom. My sample rate's 48K. Running 64 samples, 6.33 milliseconds of round trip latency. So this is like being here. I mean, it's not griping at all. If I went to 128 samples, my latency would go up to 9 milliseconds. I've already tested that, and I might have a little lower CPU usage. But one of the things that I had, yeah, very nice. I'm real happy with it. One of the things that I had read was that Zoom doesn't. At one point, they snuck into their manuals after I bought the interface that they only support Intel processors, Intel iSeries processors with Intel USB chips, and I don't know if that's still the case. They did later put out an updated driver that mentions newer stuff, but I'm not even running their drivers or anything. Because I plugged this thing in, and it said, "Oh yeah, you got to Zoom one of these things. Let's use it." And so I'm just running core audio, no fancy stuff. So let's see. I've only run into a couple issues transferring stuff over. I've got a couple of plugins that or instruments that won't work. The plugin that supports them works fine, but the instruments within them don't. A couple of native instruments. One of them is a contact instrument, and one of them is a reactor instrument. And it seems like there's just a problem with the installer script, but and a weirdo permissions thing, but I reached out to Native Instruments, and they don't officially support Tahoe yet. Sent me a couple of workarounds, but it didn't work. So, you know, I'll live without those for a while. Eventually, maybe they'll get them together or not. You know, if they don't, they don't. I'll live. Everything else has been working fine. I have not had time to transfer all of my original presets over, except for the one in the one Omnisphere, because I created it on the Mac. So anyway, that's all moving along. Took the Mac with my Arturia KeyLab controller over to the jam over at Paul's, and with Omnisphere. And I'll tell you what, that combination is really the integration is really, really good with that. It doesn't do anything weird, no weird glitches like we had with the Take 5 a week or so ago when I was testing that, and much better, wider range of control than what they've done with the Native Instruments Control S. So anyway, that's the big news here. All the big news here in the disaster room. So the studio is still a mess. You can see the modular's not back in here yet. There's cables everywhere because I'm taking stuff out. You may or may not notice, actually, if I do, let's see. Yeah, take that. You can see the Mac is sitting where the Korg stack was. The Korg stack is now sitting out in the living room, and I'm the only one of the Korgs that's still here in the studio is the multi-poly, and it may stay that way. Not sure. With the horsepower available, I don't really need the hardware, and with the NKS support that I've put together for or that I've purchased for those. Asaph, good to see you. I've got all the control that I really need at my fingertips. So I may just leave all the Korg stuff in the box, and leave it that way. So anyway, there's that. That's the thing. Much excitement. So anyway, I'm thrilled. It's there's other things that have got me thrilled with the Mac too that I've missed. So back to having all that. Let's see, other interesting things going on. This popped up today. This popped up, and this is pretty cool. I don't have any demo or anything of it, obviously, because I don't have one. But this is a pretty cool sequencer, and the trigger processor. I mean, they did a nice job of taking the Korg SQ10 and MSO3 and gluing them together. I haven't installed VCV, Paul. It's not real high up on my list of priorities, but I may do it at some point. I've got real modular. Ain't nothing like the real thing, baby. So this thing is pretty cool. It's got for those who don't know, it's like I said, based on the Korg SQ10, although it's only 8 steps instead of 12 from the original SQ10. And they added their take on the MSO3 signal processor out the side. So pretty cool piece. Does either two 8-note sequences with a control sequence, 8-step control sequence, or a 16-step note sequence with an 8-step control sequence. And this it's going to be $150 according to the website. It's like you almost can't go wrong. It's got MIDI in and out, which I don't really care about for this, except for maybe getting clock to it. And I'd probably do that over. Still probably do that through whatever. Probably through the the key step 37 or whatever it is. Yeah, the little, that thing. I don't even know where it is at this point. I think it's still out in the living room too. Anyway, you can do things too, like you don't have to run all 8 steps. You can take an output. There's ones along, I can't really mouse over it, but the row of jacks along the bottom underneath the sequence controls. If you take a jack like out of the number 4, for instance, and put that back into the reset trigger in jack, which is just to the left of the under that vertical line. I'm pointing at the thing. You can't see it. You can't see where I'm pointing. Anyway, if you plug it in there, then you have a 4-step sequence. So you can do odd length sequences and stuff like that. So pretty cool piece, and you know, it's on the wish list for someday. There's a couple other things ahead of it. So you know, maybe on the wish list when I build Rack 2. Otherwise, I'll use the whoops. One thing that the Control S by default does, I've got a lot of my defaults aren't reset. The touch strip above the mod and pitch wheels, that controls volume track, or controls the volume of the instrument that's playing. What's it, CC7, and so if I touch it by mistake, it changes the volume. I had that turned off on the old system. I have to turn it back off on this one. Let's see what else going on. So that's that. That's that thing. I saw this thing come out too. This new synth plugin thing. I mean, I guess I could. Did I pull it up? No, I didn't. I closed it. Well, anyway, it does these drone pad basic wavetable playback things, and I'm looking at this, and it's like, again, back to the question: do we need another wavetable synth? And that, because you know, listening to the blurb for it, the trailer, and then the samples and the walkthrough, you know, you can accomplish most of this with any number of other plugins if you're willing to put in a little time and effort, and then you get something that's, you know, unique. So I'm guessing it's, you know, to me anyway, it's kind of trying to appeal to the instant gratification mindset, or folks who aren't really willing to get in and really explore their software or their hardware. And yeah, I guess there's nothing wrong with that, but you know, if I'm going to spend money on something like that, I want something that's going to integrate nicely with my NKS stuff. So anyway, well, I've gone through the whole list. Look at that. And it's 8:32. I've been, yeah. So other news, I guess there's other stuff. Things are, for those who've been following along, things are proceeding well with closing down the business. And there's what, let's see, today's the 10th, so 21 more calendar days until I'm retired, such as that goes. And I'm looking forward to it. It's kind of been almost like being retired lately, because everyone, you know, customers and everyone knows that I'm retiring. Vendors mostly know that I'm retiring, so no one talks to me anymore. I have a site visit on Wednesday to hopefully wrap up do a final wrap up on an installation and get a channel up on the air, and you know, that'll be about the last. Hopefully they'll get a check to me before I close the bank account. Bathrobes or sweats. sweats. That's an interesting thing, Paul. Another thing that happened last week. All of a sudden, this is one of the joys of getting old, folks. For those who aren't there yet, some of you may know that a couple 3 years ago, I had 2 herniated discs fused in my neck. I was getting these kind of, my arm felt like every once in a while it would feel like I plugged it into a wall socket. So I've got 3 vertebrae fused where the 2 discs got taken out, and I'm not going to go that far. It doesn't get especially this time of year, Jeff. It's too cold. You can get away with that in Florida. So anyway, last week I had a really kind of scary thing happen. All of a sudden, I was getting real serious pains in my upper arm. It felt like it felt like somebody had punched me real bad, and I was getting some little tinglies in my finger. And I, checking the stuff. It's not like I'm not getting any of the other symptoms of heart attack or anything like that. But one of the problems with becoming an old round man is that your body is shaped like this. So when you try and strap pants on and wrap a belt around you, they just slide down, which is inconvenient and embarrassing sometimes. You're walking through the store and your pants fall off. It's not fun. So I had switched to wearing suspenders, and what I finally figured out had happened is the suspender on the left side was cutting in and just bothering the muscles and nerve where they hit the top of my shoulder, to the point where it's putting me in real pain. So the other morning, I guess Saturday morning, I guess it was, I decided I'd go back to back to sweats for a while, and it cleared right up. So I'm still a little sore from what it was, but at least I can, my arm is back to 99% of normal. So these are the things that you have to look forward to as you age and get rounder. So anyway, sweats it is for retirement, except on the instances where I'm going to be doing consulting. So on the instances where I do have to go visit a client, then I'll put pants on. But other than that, sweats. That's it. No one has tried to snap them, Paul. But no one has done that. We must have been hanging out with. Well, we're obviously hanging out with different people. So anyway, let's see what. Tonic water. Let's see. That's pretty much all there is to talk about. We don't need to look at that thing anymore. I was going to play the video, but I don't see why. I don't see the point. So anyway, let's see. Check though. According to my phone, I'm supposed to be doing a live stream, so that would be now. Let's do this. Let's play around in a synth. What the heck? Go back to the DAW on the screen, and we can close that. So yeah, for the eagle eye among you, that was, where'd it go? Where'd my mouse go? That was the clue right there. I do get comments sometimes when I get new haircuts. I get the whole lower your ears comment and that kind of thing. I just they ask me, hey, did you get a haircut? I said, yep, all of them, some of them twice. So let's play around. Where do I have this? Let's play around with Kontrast. Or do you want to play around with Omnisphere? Let's do Kontrast is fun. Let's do Kontrast for a while. And let's see, what do we got? I did. I picked Kontrast for now. Again, I don't have any of my own pictures or any of this stuff in here yet. I could probably find them somewhere, but let's do a new patch. Let's remember how it works. Actually, no. Yeah, we'll do one in here real quick, and then we'll do some. Then we'll play around with some Omnisphere stuff too. So let's see. Remember how this works. Let's find ourselves an interesting looking wavetable. That's kind of an odd thing to say. We're going to look for an interesting looking wavetable. That one looks interesting. Oh yeah, that should be fun. What I probably should have done was init the patch first. So let's load init. Go back to here. Where was that? Was in G? No, it was in this guy. Sound for effect. That guy. There we go. Am I on that track? Yeah. Go back here. We'll turn the pad down a bit. All right, let's make this thing move. What happens if we move this around? What are we going to hear? Still have to rearrange the studio. Everything's not right. I talked about this a few weeks ago. Where the Korgs were is where the monitor is going to end up being in the long run. With the modular probably off to my right and the mixer and interfacing everything to my left. I think that's how that's going to end up being. Okay, go into the scan controls. Let's get it to do some stuff. Come on. Mouse was stuck down. Alrighty then, let's get our envelope to play with that one. Let's stick that on. Oh, let's stick that on this guy. And I'm going to go back to our main envelope. I'm going to make this a little more leady. Put an LFO on that guy. And let's make it faster, I think. Turn re-trigger off. Another LFO, and we'll stick that on our X position. Alrighty. Turn that up a bit. Give this a little more. All right, play with the filter. Bird's not getting attention, apparently. Can we put this envelope on there? Do it this way. To change the acceleration on my mouse for the Mac, because my mouse pad, I don't know if you've seen it, it's about 6 inches, 7 inches square. I keep running off the yeah, keep running off the edge of the pad. Add a little randomness to that filter as well. Speed it up. Level, and that's pretty low, isn't it? Because I have it turned down, that's why. Okay, let's see. What I want to do is I want to, something I haven't tried before, I want to take and modulate the LFO rate. Oh, but I got it synced. Hey, Rourke. Let's see. I want to unsync that. And then I want to take the mod wheel and let the mod wheel control the rate backwards. So when I push the mod wheel forward, the rate will supposedly slow down. Oh, and I want to do it to this LFO's rate as well. Okay, unsync that. Click on there, bring that negative And let's see if I do this. Okay, I'm also going to put mod wheel on that, but positive. The idea is to make it smooth out as I open the mod wheel. And we're also going to use the mod wheel to play with some effects. Let's see, we'll just start with, let's put some grains on it. Okay, so the wet amount will be controlled by the mod wheel. So let's turn that down there, turn it up there. And follow that up with just a regular delay, or just a regular delay. I want that synced to dotted eighths because that's what we do. What do we got there? That's cool. Okay, I'm only going to take, as far as effects, I'm only going to take that as far as we have, because I want to do something different with, I want to try something with effects outside of Kontrast that I haven't tried yet. So I'm going to add a little bit of this guy just because. Nope, don't need that low. A little bit of detune. And I just want that to be mostly, oh, we could do this. Let's do this. Let's put that there. And give it a little bit of this envelope. I will drop it down an octave if I do that. Let's see. That's kind of cool. Oh, except that envelope's too short. So let's take that one off of there. And we'll use this one in, oh, that's even shorter. All right. What happens if we lengthen this envelope up? Too much, too much. Too much of that for sure. Too much of that for sure. Too much of that. I don't want that at all. Let's see, the greens go on too long too. All right, Luke, thanks for stopping by. We will talk to you tomorrow, I'm sure. Thank you. All right, now for the trick. Now for the thing I wanted to try. This will be good enough to start with for this, just kind of fooling around. What I want to try, because you're supposed to be able to do this, and I haven't done it yet, is, oops, grab from my effects here. I want to grab that and put Omnisphere's effects on that instead of the, in addition to. So let's see, what do we, I didn't want that there, go away. So let's see, boom. Let's start with some, let's try this guy. So one thing I'm not, the mouse that I'm using is my, from my 2009 iMac. It's the original version of Apple's Magic Mouse. So for those who don't know, it's got a trackpad on top of the mouse. So left and right click works as usual, but the trackpad, in certain instances, the trackpad on top actually does things too. So you can be a little, if you're not real careful, sometimes you can end up in the wrong spot. Let's try this one instead. That sounds nicer. Probably going to end up back in that this one takes, I had it with me yesterday, but I didn't bring it out of the bag because there really wasn't space. I just used the trackpad on the laptop. But this is really cool when you've got space to use it properly. So as part of the rearrangement, I'll have a proper place to put a mouse. Right now it is, here in this little square. And so I keep, running off the edge of the mouse. I have no idea what I'm doing. Actually, I can see on the other screen. So anyway, so this section here can also act as a trackpad, which is really cool. And when the right stuff's going on, it's really a cool way to work. It can be very fast, but it takes a little getting used to. I had missed it. It does not work with a PC, unfortunately. Okay, now I want to use a reverb from here. I don't know if I need to do any of this stuff or not on this, but I want to use just a touch of shimmer, and then I'm going to put so we'll set that up just a touch. Not that I really need any shimmer on this, but turn the trails down a little bit. Shimmer down just a touch. Oh, geez, Jack. How are you going through so many motherboards and CPUs? Turn the drive down, density down. Change keys on you. So what's oh, okay. I thought it's this year. Okay, well that's not bad. Now if you're doing 4 CPUs and 2 motherboards and 4 CPUs over 25 years, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. That's a pretty good rate. What did you end up putting in it this time, Jack? Now we'll put the velvet verb on here. as far as Windows machines, the experiences that I've had over the last 2 or 3 years, it's like it's not going to be anything but AMD for me. It just, I think Intel has lost the plot. So I went from going on the PC side. I went from 6 to 12 cores. On the AMD, the stupid Intel laptop that I bought, it's got 20 cores, but you know what? I guess 12 of them are basically useless. Because they're all E-cores, and it's got 8 stupid processors, an i7, or no, an i9 13900. It's got 20 cores, and only 8 of them are performance cores, and so subsequently it kind of sucked for a DAW. Great for graphics and everything else in the world. But I'd run out of CPU in a heartbeat in Ableton. All right, I'm going to go back into the synth here. Well, in audio, most audio, most audio doesn't do multi-threading at all, and so it's a thread per voice or a thread per track basically, and you just end up with running out of everything, no matter how fast you pipe audio through it. So it's or pipe data through it. Fortunately, like in the AMD, all the cores are P cores. They have one kind of core. They all go real fast. The desktop was doing fine, but it was a matter of deciding to ditch the desktop in the studio and go to use the MacBook for everything is more a matter of convenience than anything else. When I had 2 Windows machines going, synchronizing between the 2 machines was really simple. But Mac to PC and back is not quite as simple in the syncing. I gave it a little bit of a test. The desktop does well, but like I said, going back and forth between the 2 was getting kind of the couple of tests was like, I don't want to bother with this. So if I can make the Mac work well in here, or the laptop work well in here, then that's going to be my one machine, and that way I don't have to mess around with. I just plug it in here, get to work. The only things that have to be fiddled with when I come back into the studio from working elsewhere is go away. I have to go ahead and reset my MIDI controller, and I have to reset my MIDI controller, and some other little things have to be reset here and there, but nothing. It's just a matter of clicky quickie stuff. Interesting thing about the new Macs, and one of the reasons I went with this is like I said, a 2021 model, and Yeah, I can either do that. Well, I can't really do that, but I do. I'll do an external SSD jack. Um, I've got a couple of terabyte models hanging around, and they're not that expensive. Excuse me. So anyway, the thing with the new Macs is the new Macs. They've kind of they're cutting back on P cores and dosing up on E cores, and so the newer Macs are not as hearty, so to speak, as far as being able to push raw data, audio data through quickly as an M1 series Mac, and meaning an M1 Pro or an M1 Max. I think the straight M1s are either four P cores and 4 E cores, or 4 P cores and 6 E cores, depending on the version of it. I had a Ryzen 5 2600X before I went to the Ryzen 9 7900X. The Ryzen 9 and a Ryzen 7, they're both fantastic chips, either 8 cores or 12 or 16, depending on the version of the Ryzen 9. And there's a step up number of cores on the 7s too, for the whatever the 70, like the 7750 has got 2 or 3 more, 4 more cores, whatever it is. But the Ryzen's, and I should have learned, this is a lesson. This was a lesson that I learned and should have remembered from many, many years ago. When I started building PCs, back when there were first PCs, that's how long I've been building them. I went with the Intel chip because that's what we did. But somewhere along the lines, around the Pentium era, I built a DAW machine and got to looking into it, and that's when I made the switch, for generally speaking, for processors in PCs to AMD, because the Athlon just blew the Pentium away as far as performance is concerned. And so, when I built my first thought when I built the PC, the what's now the Ryzen 9 machine, the first time, was like, there was no way I was putting an Intel processor in it, and I went straight for the Ryzen. And for what I designed that machine for at the time, it did very well. It just, but it was an AM4 motherboard with the 2600X. And yeah, I could have upgraded the BIOS on it and put an AM4 Ryzen 7 or Ryzen 9 in there. Dual Pentium 133s. Oh my gosh. Cooking with gas there. But yeah, the AM4 chips are hard to get. I don't know. And so, AM5, and the thing is, I was watching a video the other day, and it's like, they're starting to talk AM6 already. And, it's like, this, what's that, Moore's Law that talks about stuff going, exponentially better and better. Although I think we've kind of plateaued. I think we've hit a plateau for a while as far as the curve goes. Remember Paris Palace? Oh, jeez. Well, we've talked about water cooling. Water in PCs, and water in PCs is just a bad idea. Just blow more air over it; it'll be fine. I'm not gonna. I've seen where computers and water have mixed, and it's been a real bad day for everyone involved. It's just an idea that I'm not going for. Yeah, Now I will say, and there are other liquids for cooling that are not so problematic, but they're very expensive. Um, you know, the thing with liquid cooling in PCs now is that you know, the coolers are cheap. They're cheap and they're cheaply made, and you know, so it's like I just wouldn't trust putting one inside a machine. I just wouldn't do it. Um, you know, if it were properly built, like you know the liquid cooling that was put in, you know, the Cray, for instance, you know, with yeah, you know, that's a different story. But you know, that was a piece of furniture. Um, um, different stuff, you know. So anyway, yeah, well, it's plumbing, you know, and you know, my thing about it is I've looked at the water cooling stuff, because it is an interesting idea, but I've looked at the components that they use, and it's about a quarter step above RV plumbing, recreational vehicle plumbing. If you know anything about that, you run very far away very fast. So it's just, you know, just bad news. Yeah, RV and boat plumbing is not a. Paul knows about boat plumbing, so you know, yeah, and it's just it's not going there. Not for me. They make really good cooling units for air cooling units for CPUs now, and if you lay your fans out right, you never have a problem. The Ryzen here in the box, um, you know, it never even comes close to its top end temperature, and it's got what I've got. Two fans on the front of the box. I've got a Be Quiet cooler on the CPU itself, and then there's one exhaust fan, and then the power supply's got its own air path. So it's the power supply air does not affect the rest of the unit. I don't have a GPU card in that machine because I'm only doing audio with it, and it really does not. It really does not need a GPU card. Yeah, it can be solid. The same with RV, Paul, but you know it comes at a price. And you know, like I said, I've looked at the water cooling stuff for PCs. It's about a half a step above an RV, you know, typical RV plumbing clamp. You know, again, just not something I'm going to trust. But the other thing is, you know, I kind of made a decision this week. I'm going as far as I'm just gonna move my way back to Macs and leave everything in Macs. And then the servers in the house, I'm going to move from Windows to Linux. And you know, I'm not going to play the Windows games anymore. It's going to be a slow migration because there's like 3 more machines to go. You know, Pentium 60. Oh God. Those were the days. Those were the days. Yeah. So anyway, I think I'm going to wind down. Yeah, the only amount of Linux is going to be for the server. Windows 3.11. Windows 3.11 for work groups. Best version of Windows ever came out. Oh my gosh. And DOS 6.2, you know. Let's see what happens if I put this new sound in the set that we were doing. It's not going to fit because the sequence I did for that was all wrong. But let's see what happens. Let's fire some of this stuff up. Oh, I got to turn that off. It's little things that I forgot to set up. Like the way it's set up right now, every time I start a clip on a clip using the launch pad, it jumps me to that track. Turn all this stuff back on. Yeah, this particular track is just all long notes. So let's see. So let's go here. Double click on this. Change the grid. Oh, I know what we can do. Yeah, we'll change the grid here to. Oh, let's make it half notes and grab everything. Yeah, sorry about that nasty noise. And we will go here and we will chop on grid. Boom. And then let's bring this guy up. Play with chance a little bit so they don't all play. And then we'll randomize the velocity. Come on. Oops, wrong thing. Do that, Garen. There we go. Now we can randomize the velocity, bring it down. So it randomizes downward. And then we'll jump over to here and let's grab a. I'll go to MIDI effects and we'll grab the arpeggiator and we'll stick that there. And set the rate to that. That'll work. That'll get some interesting semi-random weirdness going on. And then we'll turn the volume on it down a bit, because it's a little too weird. Oh, I know what I need to do. Let's do this. Let's make it scale aware, that way it won't play any wrong notes. That's better. All right, and we will hit play on that track. And the other thing I'm going to do back on this track, I think, is let's bring it down an octave. Oh, so I need a pitch. Drop that there, make it scale aware, bring it down 7. There we go. That should be better, maybe. Yeah, that's a little nicer. Still a little too much stuff going on, but it's fine. It'll be all right. All right, let's see. I think that's going to about do it. Thanks everybody for coming. Appreciate it and hanging out this evening. Maybe one day YouTube and/or the Ninja thing will get the username squared away and everything will make sense. But like I said, thanks everybody for stopping by, and we will catch you all next time. I'll be back. I will be back next week. That is the plan. So good night, all. See you all later. Have fun. Check you later.